The man at their door looked completely average in every way that made him dangerous. Average height, average build, average brown hair that wouldn't stand out in any crowd. But his eyes were cold and calculating, the kind that saw people as assets or obstacles, and Davina recognized that look because she'd seen it in men who thought humans were just pieces on a board. He held a tablet showing years of surveillance photos, their children at school, faces bright with laughter, at the park pushing each other on swings, in their own backyard through the kitchen window, hundreds of images spanning 5 years, proof that every moment of peace they'd fought for had been theater. 72 hours to decide, the man said in that emotionless voice. Join the council willingly, and your family thrives. Your children get the best education, training, medical care for their unique conditions. You'll be protected, powerful, part of something that's existed 3 centuries. Or refuse and watch everything you've built be destroyed. Your children will be taken and raised by those who understand their potential. You'll be eliminated as examples. The choice is yours. Then he walked away like a neighbor out for a stroll, got into an unremarkable sedan, and drove away at exactly the speed limit. Professional, confident that fear would do the work. Davina stood in the doorway with Junwoo's hand gripping hers, watching the taillights disappear. They'd survived Kang-dae, built 5 years of normal life from wreckage. Now they were learning normal had been the biggest illusion. 72 hours. 3 days between slavery and annihilation. We don't negotiate with terrorists, she said quietly. We find another way. He nodded once, sharp. Then let's start planning. That first night stretched into dawn as they sat with Marcus, Davina's CIA father, trying to understand what they faced. Marcus made calls to contacts he still trusted, pulled strings through networks built over 30 years. What came back made Kang-dae look like amateur hour. The council wasn't just crime syndicate. It was 300 years old, woven into governments, corporations, institutions at the highest levels. They tracked genetic mutations across bloodlines spanning centuries, manipulating breeding like farmers cultivating crops. Patient, methodical, ruthless. The CO family wasn't random, monitored for generations. Kang-dae's systematized abuse hadn't been just pathology. Council had influenced him, shaped him, used him as genetic pressure experiment. The children born from Korean SEO bloodline and Davina's African genetics represented something Council had engineered for decades. Successful activation of dormant mutations appearing in 1 in 10 million people, usually harmless or deadly, but in specific combinations manifesting as enhanced cognitive abilities. The SEO bloodline carried the mutation. Davina's genetics triggered it. Their children, particularly Jiho, were what Council geneticists called a breakthrough. Marcus spread stolen classified documents across the table. Jiho's metabolic disorder from episode 2, the Singapore treatments that supposedly cured him. It's not a disease, it's a mutation activating. The facility was Council influenced. The treatment didn't cure it, just stabilized it so abilities could emerge without killing the host. They've waited 5 years, watching through planted operatives to see if abilities would manifest successfully. Now they're making their move. Davina felt sick understanding wash over her. The caring pediatrician, the accommodating school, the helpful therapists. How many had been Council? They don't want us, she said slowly. They want the children. Marcus answered grimly. Genetic experimentation. Breeding programs. They want to use the children to create next-generation enhanced operatives. Study them. Test them. When old enough, breed them with other mutation carriers. Your children aren't people to Council. They're genetic material to exploit across decades. The horror settled like weight. They're babies. Jiho, who loved books. Minseo, who was fierce. Hope, who made friends everywhere. Jinho, who cried over injured animals. Council saw them as things to be used. Davina felt rage from every trauma crystallize into diamond resolve. Over my dead body. Marcus looked at her with something like pride. That might be exactly what it takes, but we'll go down fighting. Morning brought proof. Jiho came to breakfast moving carefully, head hurting because abilities were activating and his 7-year-old brain wasn't built to handle them. He sat picking at food while siblings chattered, then did something impossible. Looking at a thick novel about space exploration, Davina asked what it was about. Jiho closed it and recited the first 3 chapters word for word. Perfect recall down to punctuation and page numbers. Junwoo's fork clattered. Jiho, how long have you been able to do that? A few weeks, maybe? It started after my last doctor appointment. The brain scans. I can remember everything now, every book, every conversation, and I can see patterns. Like right now, I know Minseo's about to ask for more juice because I can see her looking at her empty cup, calculating if she has time before school. Minseo jerked. How did you know that? I was just thinking it. Jiho shrugged miserably. I don't know. I just do. It scares me. Before they could respond, Jiho looked at the wall. The phone's going to ring in 8 seconds. It's Grandma Margaret. She's scared. They stared. 8 seconds later, exactly predicted, the phone rang. Margaret calling panicked because she'd been followed to the grocery store, black car with tinted windows trailing her through every turn. After hanging up, Junwoo knelt before his son. Does your head hurt when you do these things? Jiho nodded. Really bad. And my nose bleeds. I had a seizure last week but hid in my room so no one would know. He looked at his parents with 7-year-old desperation. Am I broken? Is something wrong with me? Davina pulled him close, this baby who'd survived so much now manifesting abilities he didn't ask for. You're not broken. You're different. That's scary but not bad. We'll figure this out together. Marcus called the off-books doctor. Diagnosis came back worse than feared. The mutation gives abilities, but human brains aren't evolved to handle them, especially developing brains. Using these abilities at 7 is like running advanced software on incompatible hardware. Neural pathways forming faster than the skull can accommodate. If Jiho keeps using abilities at this intensity, permanent brain damage, possibly fatal hemorrhage. His brain is literally outgrowing his skull. The doctor's voice was grim. Suppress the abilities or limit use. Every time he uses them, he damages himself. Davina held her son that night, watching him sleep, feeling impossible choices. Council wanted him for abilities. Using them killed him. Suppressing them would cause damage too. No good option, just variations of harm. She understood why Council waited 5 years. Wanted abilities stabilized first to see if children survived activation. Now Jiho proved successful. They wanted to harvest him. Over my dead body, she whispered into darkness. Day 2 brought different horror. Davina went to school for early pickup, planning to keep children home. The principal stopped her, smile different today. Colder. More knowing. Mrs. Seo, the children are in special testing today. Council approved assessments. You'll need to wait. The words hung like poison. Council approved. The principal knew. Had always known. How long? Davina asked, voice quiet and dangerous. How long have you been watching my children? The principal's smile didn't waver. 3 years. Since the twins started first grade. Every IQ test, behavioral assessment, medical checkup through the school nurse. All documented and reported. Your children are remarkable, especially Jiho. His cognitive development is extraordinary. Council is very interested in his progress. She said it like discussing a science project, like Davina's babies were specimens under observation. Davina didn't wait, walked past the principal, down the hallway with heart hammering and rage giving clarity, found the twins' classroom. The teacher looked up with that same knowing smile. Mrs. Seo, the children need to finish assessment. Davina took Jiho's hand. We're leaving. Minseo, come on. The teacher stood. I can't allow that. You don't have a choice, Davina said flatly, and something in her voice made the teacher step back. This was Mama Bear energy, feral and protective and done playing nice. She collected Hope and Jiho, moving fast, feeling eyes watching from every classroom. Marcus met her in the parking lot with backup, old contacts who owed him their lives. They formed perimeter as they loaded into vehicles. The principal watched from entrance, phone to ear, reporting. Let them watch, Davina thought grimly. Home, piecing together surveillance extent, they realized the nightmare was bigger. The pediatrician treating Jiho's seizures, recommending Singapore, council operative, the dentist doing checkups, council collecting genetic markers, the friendly neighbor who babysat, council monitoring family dynamics. Margaret followed for months. Even Davina's clinic had a plant accessing children's medical records. 5 years of normal life had been theater, every moment observed by an organization with eyes everywhere and patience measured in centuries. They'd been lab rats in a cage they thought was freedom. "How do you fight something everywhere?" Junwoo asked. Marcus looked grim. "You don't fight it. You run or disappear so completely they can't find you." That's when Marcus made the call, ending his career. 30 years CIA, called his superior requesting emergency extraction protocols. The response came cold. "Stand down, Marcus. The family needs to cooperate with counsel. This is above your clearance. Don't make this an issue." Marcus felt the floor drop. "You're one of them." His superior's voice held no apology. "Counsel isn't our enemy. They're partners, have been for decades. Their genetic research aligns with national security. The family will be treated well. Stand down. That's an order." Marcus looked at his daughter, at Junwoo, at 4 children who called him grandpa and trusted him, then hung up and smashed the phone with a hammer. "I'm done. 30 years burned. But I'm not delivering my family to people who see children as experiments. We do this off the books, no agency support, just us." Davina hugged her father, who'd sacrificed everything twice now. "Thank you." He held her tight. Family first. Always. Day 3 brought a visitor, making Junwoo's blood cold. Young Korean man, mid-20s, expensive suit, elite training evident in every movement. He introduced himself as Seo Tae-hyun. Tae-yang, the uncle who'd assaulted Davina 7 years ago, the man Junwoo killed, had a son, this son, standing on their doorstep representing counsel. They let him in because refusing accomplished nothing. Tae-hyun sat like he owned the room, accepted tea with perfect manners, laid out his story with polished delivery. "I was 20 when my father died. At university. They told me family dispute turned violent, that you killed him over money and power. Counsel found me in grief, offered purpose and training. 7 years becoming very good at negotiation, recruitment. This assignment is professional, but also personal. You killed my father. Now I decide your family's fate." Poetic. Junwoo listened, guilt and justification warring. "Did they tell you why I killed him?" "Family dispute. Money. The usual." Junwoo looked at Davina, asking silent permission. She nodded. "Tell him." So Junwoo told truth, about finding his uncle assaulting unconscious Davina, about intervening not as aggressor but protector. "Your father was raping my wife. I stopped him. That's what happened. Not money, not power. I saved her." Tae-hyun's face drained color. He looked at Davina, really looked. "Is that true?" She met his eyes. "Yes. I was unconscious from being drugged. Your father was assaulting me." Junwoo stopped him. "Saved me. Your father was a rapist. I'm sorry you didn't know, but it's truth." Silence stretched painful. Tae-hyun's hands clenched. "They told me. They said." He stopped. "Everything I believed. Counsel told me what I needed to hear to make me useful. They lied about everything." But he pulled himself together, stood. "I need to think. I'll be back tomorrow for your answer. Deadline is midnight. Consider carefully. Join counsel and children are safe, educated, powerful. Refuse and they're orphans raised by counsel anyway while you're eliminated. One way you stay alive to watch them grow." He left, and Davina saw doubt in every line. Question was whether doubt translated to action or counsel conditioning overrode truth. Hours after Tae-hyun left, another knock brought Minji. Different after 5 years, harder and polished, expensive clothes and professional bearing. She had lawyers, served them papers right on the doorstep, petitioned to reclaim parental rights to Jiho. "I gave him up during postpartum trauma, was coerced by circumstances. I've recovered and established stability. I want my son back. Courts will see I have every right." Jiho appeared in the doorway, 5 years old and confused. "The woman from photos?" "You're not my mommy," he said with 5-year-old certainty. "Davina's my mommy." Minji's mask cracked. "I know this is confusing, honey, but I'm your biological mother. We'll get to know each other. You'll come live with me." Jiho's eyes filled with tears. He ran to Davina, wrapped arms around her legs. "No, I don't want to. Don't let her take me." Davina picked him up, this child born from violence but raised with love. Looked at Minji. "Why now? After 5 years?" Minji's mask settled. "I've always wanted him. Needed time to recover and establish myself. Now I'm ready. It's my right." But Davina saw truth. Minji didn't want Jiho. Council did. You're working for them. Council sent you. Minji didn't confirm or deny. Just handed papers. Court date in 3 weeks. Be there or default judgment. Then left with lawyers while Jiho cried into Davina's shoulder. That night, Jiho spoke up with something unexpected. He'd been quiet all day, processing with 7-year-old seriousness. "What if I want to go with counsel?" Everyone froze. Minseo grabbed his hand. "What? Why?" Jiho looked at his twin with eyes too old. "I'm lonely. My brain does things yours don't. I remember everything, predict things, sometimes know what people think before they think it. Other kids are scared, teachers uncomfortable. Even you guys look at me different. Like I'm something strange." He looked at parents. Council said they have other kids like me. Places where I could be with people who understand. Teachers who know how to help. I wouldn't be alone. Wouldn't be the weird one. Davina's heart broke. Her baby felt like a freak. Minseo hugged her brother fiercely. "You're not weird. You're my brother. Special, not scary." But Jiho's temptation was real. 7 years old and tired of being alone in his head. Council offered belonging, community, understanding, psychological warfare at finest. Make the child want to join so family tears itself apart. Junwoo knelt before his son. "I know you feel alone. I'm sorry we don't always understand, but Council doesn't want to help you. They want to use you, use your abilities until they burn you out. When old enough, make you have children with other people like you to create more kids to use. You won't be a person. You'll be a tool. Is that what you want?" Jiho looked uncertain. "They said I'd be special, important." "You are special," Davina said, "and important. To us, to your family. We'll find ways to help that don't involve letting Council own you. I promise. Trust us. Can you do that?" Jiho nodded slowly, but doubt didn't leave his eyes. Council's seed was planted. That night, while children slept, they planned. Less than 24 hours until deadline, multiple threats, schools compromised, CIA infiltrated, legal system weaponized. Running was the only option. Marcus planned extraction while Davina packed essentials, and Junwoo tried to figure out disappearing with 4 children and grandmother. At 4 afternoon on day 4, everything went to hell. Davina made supply run, medications for Jiho's seizures. The pharmacy was close, familiar, should have been 10 minutes. She never came home. 2 hours later, Junwoo's phone buzzed. The video showed Davina zip-tied to metal chair in warehouse, industrial and cold, mouth gagged, surrounded by men in tactical gear. Taehyun's face filled screen. 72 hours are up and she wouldn't cooperate. New deal. You and 4 children turn yourselves in at this address by midnight. She goes free. You run, she dies slowly, and we hunt your children anyway. 8 hours. Make the right choice. But before gagging her again, Davina looked at camera and mouthed 3 words crystal clear. Don't trade. Go. Junwoo stared, reality fracturing. His wife captured. Used as bait, telling him to abandon her, let her die so children could escape. The choice his father faced over and over, the choice defining generations. Sacrifice love for family or family for love. Except his wife was begging him to let her die. Margaret made the decision. Davina's mother, 68 and steel-wrapped in grandmother softness, looked at screen then at Junwoo. "No, we don't sacrifice, we don't negotiate. We rescue her and we run. Both. Figure out how." Marcus nodded. "It's not impossible, just very difficult." Junwoo felt something settle. "Right. We fight. All of us. Together." Jiho spoke up. "I can help." His small voice cut through planning. I can see patterns, predict movements. Give me information about the warehouse guards. I can tell you where they'll be and when. I can map the rescue. Everyone stared. Using abilities at that intensity would hurt him. Brain couldn't handle it. But the 7-year-old looked at his father with absolute determination. Mommy's in danger. I can save her. I have to. Marcus got building schematics from city records, surveillance footage from nearby cameras, guard schedules, fed it to a 7-year-old who processed like supercomputer. Jiho's eyes glazed, absorbing data, making connections, calculating probabilities. Nose bleeding within 15 minutes, seizure at 30. But the tactical plan emerging was flawless. Every guard position, every blind spot, exact timing, routes in and out, 2 hours straight while brain damaged itself. By end, he collapsed unconscious, blood from nose and ears, body seizing. The doctor looked grim. May have already caused permanent brain damage. Using abilities again could trigger fatal hemorrhage. But the plan was perfect. Impossibly perfect. Guided by child who sacrificed his future to save his mother. They had no choice but use it. They left Jiho with Margaret and younger children. Took Minseo because fierce 7-year-old refused to stay. Followed Jiho's predictions exactly. Rescue played like clockwork. Guards where he said. Timing perfect. Found Davina. Freed her. Moving to extraction when Tae-hyun appeared blocking exit. If you're on the edge of your seat wondering if they make it out alive, hit that like button and subscribe to Afro-Korean World right now, because what happens next will absolutely destroy you. But something was different. Tae-hyun was alone. No backup. No weapon. Hands raised. I let you get this far. After you told me truth about my father, I investigated. Found police reports, medical records, witness statements. Everything council hid. He was a monster. You stopped him. Council lied about everything to make me useful. 7 years being loyal to people who manipulated my grief as weapon. I was wrong. I help you escape. I know routes Council doesn't monitor. I can buy you time. Too late. Council figured out his betrayal. Operatives poured in. Firefight erupted. Tae-hyun guided them toward exit while holding off attackers. Return fire hit him. Once. Twice. Third shot dropped him. Junwoo caught him falling. Tae-hyun grabbed his shirt. I hated you. Planned revenge. But you broke the cycle my father created. Keep breaking it. Don't let Council make your children into what my father made me. Blood bubbled from lips. Died in Junwoo's arms. Enemy's son who found redemption helping the man raised to destroy. They escaped with Davina, but Council knew they'd crossed the line. Hunt fully active. Hours until they'd be found. At safe house, Jiho still unconscious. Brain swelling from damage saving his mother. Doctor monitoring but prognosis grim. Might recover. Might not. Using abilities again would kill him. But he'd done it anyway. 7 years old making impossible sacrifices. Marcus presented final option. Can't fight Council. Too big. Embedded. Powerful. Can't join. Won't sacrifice children. So we do what my career trained me for. We make you disappear. Completely. The plan was audacious. Fake their deaths. All of them. Marcus had contacts, people who'd left CIA for black ops, who owed him lives, could stage accident, create bodies using medical cadavers from teaching hospitals, age appropriately, plant DNA evidence falsified through labs, make it convincing, fire, explosion, bodies burned but identifiable through dental records and DNA that would match because Marcus would make it match. Council would investigate thoroughly, find bodies, DNA matches, death certificates, funeral with closed caskets, everything official and tragic, family dead just as Council was acquiring them. They'd close file, move to next targets. Real family would be on boat to New Zealand with new passports, new names, new identities, new lives, total erasure, becoming ghosts. Cost was staggering. Everyone they'd known would think them dead. Mrs. Seo in prison, 3 years from parole, would believe son and grandchildren perished. Live remaining years mourning family actually alive but unable to contact. Margaret's friends would mourn. Every client Junwoo counseled, every patient Davina healed, could never contact anyone from old lives, never return to Korea, never be who they were. Permanent witness protection from organization not even officially acknowledged. Davina looked at her children. At Jiho unconscious and possibly brain damaged. At Min-seo fierce and protective. At Hope innocent and scared. At Jinho who'd been through so much, looked at Junwoo who'd sacrificed everything to break cycles. At her mother who'd given up her whole life. Freedom was worth any cost. Our children's lives are worth being dead to the world. Do it. 72 hours later, news reported it. Tragic house fire, suburban Seoul. Entire family killed. 6 victims, including 4 children and grandmother. Bodies recovered. Dental records and DNA confirming identities. Investigation ongoing but appeared accidental. Electrical fire. Funeral 3 days later. Closed caskets. Small service. Council sent representatives to verify. Checked everything. Bodies. DNA. Death certificates. Investigated fire. Interviewed neighbors. Pulled surveillance. 2 weeks making absolutely sure. Finally filed report. Family confirmed deceased. Genetic material lost in tragic accident. Acceptable loss given other projects. Case closed. Moved to next targets. Real family already gone. On cargo ship before fire was reported. New passports saying they were Morrison family from Canada relocating for work. New identities carefully crafted. James and Sarah Morrison with 4 children and Sarah's mother. Birth certificates. School records. Employment history. All fake but perfectly documented. Marcus spent 30 years learning to create legends for deep cover. Used every skill to make his family disappear. They arrived New Zealand 6 weeks later. Remote countryside property Marcus purchased through shell companies for exactly this situation. Large farmhouse, acres of land, nearest neighbor 2 miles away. No one asked questions. Enrolled children in local school under new names. Got jobs under false credentials. Started living as Morrisons. Every day waking, remembering they were dead. 10 years passed the way time does when holding your breath waiting for something terrible that never quite comes. They built lives carefully and quietly. Children grew. Jiho recovered from brain damage mostly. Still had occasional seizures. Headaches. But alive. Abilities stabilized as he got older. Learned control. Used sparingly and carefully. At 17, he was brilliant and serious. Spent time in encrypted forums helping other children with emerging abilities, learned to hide from council, building networks, teaching control, preparing next generation. Min-seo at 17 was warrior crystallized, studied martial arts obsessively, weapons training, tactical strategy. Family's guardian, determined no one would threaten them again. Planning to join New Zealand military under false identity for combat skills. Hope at 16 was still sunshine but tempered. Helped parents with community work. Wanted to be teacher. Represented the hope they'd fought for. Jinho at 15 was proof nurture beats nature. Kang-dae's grandson had his sharp features but none of his cruelty. Loved animals. Wanted to be veterinarian. Every day he existed was victory. Davina at 42 had gray streaks in braids earned through decade of vigilance. Still worked as nurse under false name. Still healed people. Junwoo at 47 had gone gray at temples with lines around eyes from smiling at children. Ran online counseling anonymously. Still helped abuse survivors. Margaret at 78 was slower but sharp. Helped raise grandchildren through exile. Baked cookies. Told stories. Was the grandmother they deserved. They had friends in community who knew them as Morrisons. Dinner parties. School events. Normal lives. But kept weapons hidden in every room. Had escape plans. Ran quarterly drills, taught children to disappear if strangers came. Peace maintained through preparation. Mrs. Seo released on parole after 10 years. 70 now, living soul, visiting graves of son and grandchildren weekly. Marcus arranged proper graves with real headstones. She believed they'd died. Lived final years mourning family actually alive across the world. They thought of her often, wished they could tell her, knew they never could. Family dinner random Tuesday was chaos and laughter. 8 people around one table, roast chicken and vegetables from their garden. Jiho explaining quantum physics. Min-seo arguing about motorcycle license. Hope talking school play. Jinho showing photos of Fox he was rehabilitating. Normal, beautiful, hard won. Doorbell rang. Everyone froze. Complete stillness. Even after 10 years the fear remained. Hands moved to hidden weapons. Jiho's eyes flickered with ability. Min-seo shifted to combat stance. Margaret reached for emergency phone. Junwoo and Marcus approached door, checked security first, their neighbor. Farmer from down the road, holding drill. "Hey mate, brought back your drill, thanks for lending it." Junwoo opened carefully, made small talk, took drill, closed door, turned back. They exhaled, laughed nervously, then genuinely. "We're crazy," Hope said. "That was just Mr. Patterson." "Healthy paranoia keeps us alive," Minseo countered, returned to dinner. But far away on hilltop mile distant, someone lowered binoculars. Older woman, weathered and professional, council operative. She'd found them through financial algorithms and 3 years searching. Spoke into encrypted phone, found them, New Zealand rural property, all 6 subjects alive. Request instructions, listened to response, face showed surprise. "You want me to do nothing? Mark file and move on?" Listened more, subjects past optimal age, children too old. Cost of retrieval exceeds value, council has better targets, close file. She looked through binoculars one last time at family laughing inside. Something crossed professional mask, sadness, envy, lucky bastards. They made it out, packed equipment, got in car, drove away, would file report, case closed, council moved on. But inside, Davina felt it. Someone watching, caught Junwoo's eye. Slight nod, both knew, someone had found them. Maybe was gone, maybe would return. Didn't know. That was price of freedom. Said nothing, continued dinner, continued living. Later that night, children asleep, Davina and Junwoo sat on porch. She leaned against him. Neither spoke long time. "Do you think we'll ever really be safe?" she finally asked. "Probably not," he said. "There'll always be another threat. That's reality. So we just keep living like this? Forever? We keep living. However we have to, for as long as it takes. Because the alternative is surrender, and we didn't survive everything just to give up now." She thought about life built from wreckage, about children sleeping safely, about everything sacrificed. "I wouldn't change it. Any of it. Everything we lost, everything we gave up. I'd do it again. Because they're safe. And maybe we didn't escape our past. Maybe we just built a future big enough that the past couldn't fit inside it anymore." They sat watching stars in silence, comfortable, together, alive. The doorbell would ring again someday. But when it did, they'd be ready. That's what made them unbreakable. Not that they'd won, but that they'd survived. And surviving was its own victory. What was your favorite scene? Was it Jiho sacrificing himself to save his mother? Taehyun's redemption? The moment they faked their deaths? That final scene where they realize they're never truly safe but have each other? Drop your favorite moment in the comments below, and if you need to know what happens next, if there are more battles to fight, comment episode 6 below. Subscribe to Afro-Korean World and hit that bell because this family story shows us that freedom isn't the absence of fear, it's choosing love despite the fear, every single day. That's what they do, and maybe that's enough.